What's going on, guys? Rachel West here, and I'm with Rick Stroud, Joey Knight, and Matt Baker, and we're through rounds 2 and 3 of the draft, and we'll just jump right into it with their second round draft pick. I don't think he needs much of an introduction here, but Matt, Kyle Trask, quarterback from Florida, what are the Bucs getting with him?
They're getting a guy who knows how to persevere. I mean, it's not hyperbole to say that it's one of the most remarkable stories in the history of Gators athletics. I mean, this Kyle Trask is a guy who was a backup in high school at Manville High in Texas behind De'Aaron King, who's now the star at the University of Miami. Backed him up, played the 3rd and 7th series most games, had 16 touchdowns, no interceptions, but was overlooked as a recruit because, again, he wasn't even the starter in high school. Gators took a flyer on him, was the number 2 quarterback in that class for Florida. Waits on the bench, has 4 different guys start ahead of him. Then finally in 2019 against Kentucky, he gets his chance when Felipe Franks has that horrible ankle injury. And all he does is go out and have a fantastic game, a fantastic season, and then a fantastic career, setting program records last year in single season passing yards and passing touchdowns. So they're getting a guy who can play at a high level. We saw that at Florida. He was very accurate, and one who knows how to kind of learn and prepare as the starter, even though he's the backup. And then, when it was his time to shine, he really, really shined.
Yeah, it truly is a pretty remarkable story. And now, Rick, obviously the Bucs have this guy named Tom Brady who's pretty good, won a few games or two. He's not going anywhere for the foreseeable future, at least. So why did the Bucs decide now it's Kyle Trask? He's the guy, and he's the one who's going to learn behind the greatest of all time.
Boy, you're right. I mean, Jason Light even talked to Tom Brady to let him know that this was probably going to happen, that they were going to draft a quarterback. And, Jason also said that Brady is not worried about his job and that he will play as long as he wants to play. No one's taking Tom Brady's job. That said, he is going to be 44 at the start of next season. And I think, when they went up and worked him out at the pro day and watched him and got to talk to him a little bit, Byron Leftwich and Clyde Christensen saw a guy that, as Matt said, is a survivor. They said, look, you were a backup in high school, and when you finally got to play, you crushed it. And then you were a backup in college. When you got to play, you crushed it. Come in here, do the same thing, and there's no reason to expect you can't crush it. They love his accuracy. And Clyde also said something to me that was interesting. He said, this is a guy that has handled elite receivers, the personalities, the egos. There's 2 guys on that team that got drafted high in the 1st round that he was throwing to. So Kyle Trask checked a lot of boxes for him, and I think they're really happy to get him.
And while Trask was the big story and the big pick of the night, they did have that 3rd round pick, Joey, Robert Hainsey. What do the Bucs like about him, and what are they going to be getting from him?
Well, like Kyle Trask, he kind of has a Florida connection. He's from Pittsburgh, but he played his last 2 high school seasons at IMG Academy down in Bradenton, went up to Notre Dame and evolved into a fixture at right tackle. And if anybody who watched Notre Dame play last year, they were a ball control force. They won the time of possession battle in 11 of their 12 games. They ran for more than 200 yards a game, ranked something like 23rd or 24th in the country. So Robert Hainsey asserted himself with the team, a 2-year captain, and asserted himself at right tackle. But what Jason Light and Bruce Arians really like about him, he went down to the Senior Bowl and he was willing to experiment at other positions, to play guard and center, because he realized that's probably where his future was. And he really played well. He excelled at the Senior Bowl, and that's where he caught their eye. And he's got the luxury, just like Kyle Trask, of coming in and learning behind some really good players, because all 5 of their starting offensive linemen, as we all know, are back. So Robert Hainsey can come in and find his niche, find out what best suits him at the next level, and learn from the guy behind him.
Exactly. Well, first 2 days of the draft are in the books. We'll see how the Bucs and what the Bucs do on day 3 tomorrow as it closes out. Thank you guys for the time. Everyone, make sure you're following along with all of them on Twitter, keeping up with all their great insight and content, and then also all the great stuff that they've got up over for you at tampabay.com.